Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sons and Daughters of Liberty. We're going to do a little rambling cat of mine. The year's almost over. Why not? I'm in one of those moods. Chat is open for all. Well, except for maybe Facebook. I won't go to see your chats. It doesn't seem like to transfer over here to Rumble. But I do have a lot to say. I have a lot on my mind. Obviously, the title's pretty much, well, sum of all things, right? Lack of common sense. Lack of politicians don't give a fuck, right? Make all these promises. Oh, we're going to bring the prices down to get elected. But yet all the prices keep going up. There's been no break. Yeah, gas prices went down, but that's because we're on winter gas. It always goes down. But yet they'll say, oh, the prices are down. I'm tired of the snake oil salesmen. I'm tired of people trying to cancel people out because they have an opinion. I'm tired of fucking YouTube striking my shit because I have an opinion. Read my disclaimer, bitches. These are my opinions. Nothing that violates your terms of service other than you have a bunch of fucking cupcakes that don't like what I have to say. Quite frankly, remove my channel. I don't give a fuck. Everything I posted over there is backed up. I'm not even streaming over there anymore. I'm over here on Rumble where I can say what the fuck I want to say and not worry about having to be canceled out because I have an opinion that goes against what you think is right. Well, let's talk about rights and wrong and morality. How is it moral to celebrate someone's death? Yes, I'm referring to Charlie Kirk. But yet you'll allow all that crap to be streamed everywhere on your platform. But I say one thing about anything that you don't like and you're giving me a strike, fuck off. I've been done with you for 2 years. The only reason my shit's going over there because I can have the ability to stream over there from Rumble. When I don't, I don't. It don't matter because I post my links everywhere I'm at anyway. We all know you lie about the algorithms. I proved that. Those videos are archived. So be my guest. Remove it all. You do nothing. Just all my shit's still up thanks to archive.gov. My websites, all the YouTube links have been replaced with the archive sites links. Now I'm over here in Rumble having fun. But that is the problem with the world today. If you have an opinion, somebody doesn't like it, they want to cancel you out. That's the problem with corporations who get too big for their britches, and our government does nothing to put them in their place. Of course, our government's already proven they don't care. Republican or Democrat, they're all like, don't want to hear it. They all preach the same damn hypocrisy and lies when it comes to get elected. How many Republicans promised to bring the prices down? What have they done? Oh, we shut the government down. At this point, Trump ain't much better. He's focused on drug cartels from Venezuela. I'm sorry, that's not the worst of our drug problem and trafficking problems. When I say trafficking, I mean human trafficking. I mean, if you really want to put an end to that, deal with Mexico, Colombia, and Venezuela, not Venezuela, and Argentina, where the most major thinking is coming from. Deal with China instead of making deals with China. So no, I'm not happy with him either. Because they're all the same. At the end of the day, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. But and the things we should be talking about, hell, Tim Pool last weekend. Thankfully, he wasn't at his place. He got his shit shot up. It was like 3 shots, but still, he shot at his place. To where he's now talking about being done. But, I have some choice words there, too, Mr. fucking hypocrite. And that's me being harsh, but that's being precise, too. Because he's a hypocrite now. But I respect his decisions because at the time, during COVID, everybody heard it. He pissed me off and everybody else off. How he was getting on people. You need to take a stand. Yeah, well, people got loved ones and family members that they got to support. But, at that time, he wasn't married. He didn't have a kid. Well, how funny it is now when the shoe's on the other foot that, oh, now I'm like, now I'm going to shut things down. Yeah. Well, my friend, welcome to the club. That's how they get you. We all love something. Well, most of us do anyway. We all have something to lose. Most of us do. But yet, I've not heard you apologize for saying those things, for becoming a man and realizing, well, shit, now I got something to lose. And I'm not bashing Tim. I love Tim's content. I love what he's done. I watched him come from a skateboarder punk to, well, he wasn't a punk, but what I mind my words. I'm fucking from the 90s. We were considered punks, those of us skaters, druggies, Gen X. Come on. But that's what we were considered. He did something and made something of that. He went from posting skateboard videos to start to Black Block, the Wall Street, or thing in New York, whatever. Can't remember the real name, but I wasn't watching him at that time. I started watching, I don't know. It was after all that. It was after Ferguson. It was right after Ferguson. You know what I liked about him? He called it both ways. He didn't side on one side or the other. He called it both ways. And he still does to the most part. He doesn't back down. If somebody's wrong, he calls them out. That's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to get canceled out for calling people wrong. You know, it's like, have everybody lost their rabbit ass minds? That we can't be free to speak our minds, to have an opinion? Do we have to have security guards and bodyguards? That seems to be what the days we're living in. How many? 3 attempts on President Trump? Maybe 4. 3 assassination attempts on Trump, on a future to be president. Assassination of Charlie Kirk. We had people celebrating his death in the most vile way, inhuman way. We're all human beings. We're supposed to love each other. But no, we've got so many sick psychopaths. And I blame our government. Our government's caused this, created this through Common Core. They're changing the school curriculums. We're calling parents that stood up against it domestic terrorists. You know, and all this goes back. Finally, shots were fired. But it goes back to having your house raided because somebody wanted to call the cops and lied to them, said, "Oh, there's a death threat." I heard gunshots, a bomb threat. It's getting ridiculous. But yet these people that are doing this aren't being held accountable. They're not being arrested. All because people have opinions, a political view. We all have political views. Mine differ from most because I don't vote for a label. I don't adhere to labels. I'm not no fucking Republican, Democrat, Independent, none of those labels. Nor will I vote based on a party line label. I will vote for those that represent the Constitution, those who their actions speak louder than words, those who have stood up and fought for our rights, for our freedoms, who's called out the hypocrisy of our government and politicians. And guess what? If there ain't none on a ballot, I will write in a person's name that I know who's done it within the community. But then again, that's where it starts. It starts in the community. Actually, it starts in the home. Then from the home to the community. I mean, this year, government shutdown. What did they shut down for? All because of a fucking word. Literally, it was a word because they wanted to use a word so illegals could get health care. And the American people suffer yet more. Hell, those that got their food stamp, that was a joke. And there's actually people that actually need food stamps. Those that can't work, that are disabled and cannot work. But that whole system's broken too. Then, oh, we're going to give you half, not even half. Here's $20 for the month during Thanksgiving, right? And that's actually a fact. That's how much some people got. Our system is so screwed, but yet our politicians don't do jack shit to fix it. They'll promise when it's time for an election, get reelected. But the worst part is we keep voting these idiots back into place. You guys haven't learned yet? And I do agree. Oh, I don't agree because it's not going to be a civil war. It'll be a revolutionary war because people have had it. It might start off a few small skirmishes, but those will be put out quick. You know, and it's just like I'm tired of seeing people make money off death. Candace Owen, you filthy fucking cunt. But then again, anybody that ever watched her should have known she was a snake, a prostitute for money that will dive into any story, even if she has to make it up. I never took anything she said as credit. It's credible. Now she's profiting, and she is profiting off Charlie Kirk's death. With conspiracy after conspiracy, but people are listening. She has a following. She's no better than Alex Jones. She's just as dangerous. But some could say the same for Tim Pool. Some could say the same for me. We have our following. Within those followings, we will have that 1% of crazies. But yet, that's our responsibility not to incite or say things that will send them off to do something stupid. But yet, all she's doing is gaining gaining money and drawing people in by saying stupid things and having no respect for Charlie Kirk or his widow and kids. With all these crazy ideas of who tried to assassinate him or kill him. And she's willing to drag anybody through the mud with innuendos. You know, maybe one day I will do a podcast on the power of words or the lack of words. We can string things together as an innuendo, and you're going to hear the innuendo and think it's truth when it's just an assumption. I'm not actually saying they did it, but I'm implying they did. I'm hinting at they did. Therefore, you're not going to research it. Because you're a follower. You're not going to call me out when you should. It's the whole thing. I've always said this, even when I was doing it on YouTube. Question everything. Question everything I say. We're not perfect. We get things wrong. We have our own opinions. We have our own views based on how we were brought up, the things we've experienced in life. Therefore, none of our opinions are ever going to be the same. None of our views are ever going to be the same. We have indoctrinations from schools, churches, from the people we allow into our lives. They all have an effect on our morals, our views, our values, our opinions. But how does these morals, values, views, and opinions become cancellation, assassination, betrayal, lies, the lack of common sense to see that we're being played? Answer me this. I know I'm not the most favorite person on the internet because I call it like I see it. There's days I intentionally trigger you to make you think, to make you question things. That's what we're supposed to do. I don't agree with the term being called influencer, but in truth, that's probably the most accurate statement or label. We ain't podcasters. We're not streamers. We're not citizen journalists. We are influencers. How are we influencing those that listen to our podcasts? Yeah, I get it. A lot of people don't like me because I just dropped the F bomb after F bomb, right? How many actually know me? Very few. How many actually know? I'm probably saying here in the room are very few. We've hinted at the story why we created Sons and Daughters of Liberty, who created Sons and Daughters of Liberty, and what it's about. But it's actually a few people, few direct descendants of the founding fathers. I'm being one of them, John Rutledge. You'll find his name on the Constitution. You'll find his names and legislations from the Continental Stamp Act, First and Second Stamp Act. You'll find that he helped write most of the laws in the Constitution. Some I disagree with, but I understand the time and place, the day and age. Nobody foreseen things getting our government ever getting so big, but there was some that did. They were called Jeffersonians. Jefferson did. Jefferson clearly, blatantly spoke out what needs to happen if a government ever became tyrannical. It's never been more so tyrannical. But the problem is, they're just puppets to the corporations, to the millionaire billionaires that support their buy their campaign funds, campaigns and their votes. Is the elections rigged? Fuck yeah, they are. We still have dead people voting on their elections. Take that, YouTube. That's actually fact, which therefore makes the elections to be called in question. Every election, whether it be for a mayor, they find dead people's ballots cast. Of course, there's a simple fix to that. Voter IDs. I mean, I got to show my ID to buy a pack of cigarettes, to buy alcohol. Shit, I could definitely be all for showing my ID to cast a ballot. Make sure that's me casting that ballot. That would put an end to all the dead people voting, right? Well, probably not. Create fake IDs. We see the illegals doing it, illegal immigrants. When they round them all up, bunch of fake IDs, social security numbers. Well, they're not fake because there's probably might be one of you listening right now, not knowing that your social security number and your name's being used by some illegal immigrant. Well documented. Now, am I against people coming into the United States? Hell no. But do it the right way. Do it like my mom did. She became a U.S. national citizen. She's from Brazil. Married my dad. In 2000, she became a United States citizen. She did it the right way, the legal way. But unfortunately, I can understand why we have a problem because, once again, greed. They made it so expensive to become a naturalized citizen for people that want to be here, that contribute, that work, that pay taxes, that want to live the American dream, to have a better life. They make it so hard for them to become citizens because there's so much money that you have to pay to get there. It's ridiculous. Yet again, another fucking broken system. But those are the things they don't want us. Those are the things they don't want us talking about. Because if we start talking about those things, we start poking holes into their lives. People start seeing what's really going on. I mean, come on, guys. This year has been one of the fucking most chaotic, destructive years I've seen. And going on my 48 years on this earth. That's how bad it's got. I actually see history repeat itself with the fall of Rome. That's how corrupt our Senate and House have become. That's how corrupt and divided politicians become. I can't think of a single politician out there that I would back. Why? Because actions speak louder than words. MTJ, good riddance. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she showed her true colors fast. But then again, let's talk about the future. You know what's more scary than Marjorie Taylor Greene? Oh yeah, the donkey that needs the ball gag. AOC. Because they're gonna be their candidate. A National Socialist Nazi. Before anybody goes to correct me, that's what we went to war against in World War II, was the National Socialist Party, which were the Nazis. So anyone that calls themselves a National Socialist, there you go. Do you want that in power? And for those that think she's dumb, that's an act. She's very calculating and smart and articulate and dangerous. What? And I'm not gonna say that she will even win, but I'm just saying that's what we need to watch out for. The other things we need to watch out for is that when it comes midterms, things are going to change. Because so many people are pissed off the Republicans. But you know what? Guess what? This happens every damn cycle. History has shown that. We'll elect all the Republicans, and they're going to they promise to make all these changes. Then they don't. Then we switch, flop, flip, flop, and do the other. And guess what? We fall for the same rhetoric and the same lies from the other side. It's a vicious cycle that we keep repeating willingly because we're so fed up. Well, how about taking all that being fed up and start putting it back into your community, finding people that have your same values and beliefs from your community and helping them raise money to become next senator, the next House representative, the next district judge, the next DA. We all have that power. We all have that voice. Instead of arguing back and forth with each other about who's right or wrong, which we're so good at, sadly, when will we learn? I mean, if you can't see the writing on the wall, I mean, it's in big neon signs in front of you. It's the corporations that are killing everything. They're setting the prices at the store. They're buying the congressmen's votes by spending millions and billions of dollars in campaigns and anti-attack ads. Why? Because as was foretold by the justice who mysteriously died and was cremated before his body could be shipped back to D.C. for a federal autopsy, which violated his religious beliefs and, among other things, a cover-up, because he was the one justice that was against it and the one vote that kept it from ever happening for corporations to spend as much money as they want because of a simple phrase of words. That corporation is made up of many Americans, not one. So therefore, the Constitution does not apply to a corporation. And everything he said, every journal he wrote and published about what would happen came to be. But yet, our politicians don't try to go back and fix that. Why? Because they're making money while we're working our asses off, spending most of our paycheck before we even get to the grocery store, and wondering how we're going to buy the groceries or put gas in our vehicle. No, I think it's funny. Everything wrong, from, the, from your hamburger patties to your buns, have gotten smaller. The amount of chips you get in a chip bag or amount of cereal. All the portions have shrunk since the 90s. Everything's gotten smaller, but we pay more for it. We used to pay less for smaller portions. Those were value meals. Those were discount items. It's a shame. It's a shame that people don't understand and can't see what's going on. We all should be morally disgusted at people celebrating the death of anyone. We should all be disgusted when people that are bringing you their opinions, and most of it's true, what they're saying. It's opinions still, but they have to live in fear of being canceled or assassinated or murdered because they're speaking out. I hope Tim Pool don't go away because, like I said, yeah, I disagree with some things he says. A lot of some, and we're always going to disagree with each other. But then again, maybe he'll go away and create something better. Maybe this will be the step that takes what he created into something bigger. Who knows? I hope that's the case because I don't want to see him away. But if he does go away, we need to replace him, and not with a lying, filthy prostitute like Candace Owen, who's spewing lies for the gain of money, for her own greed.
I would love that face.
Honestly, she should be held accountable. But should we use the same defense that all of us would use? It's just my opinion. I'm not stating facts. I'm posing questions. Are you really posing questions? Or are you insinuating? There is a difference. But in the end, you're making money off a grieving wife and grieving children while ruining names and what Charlie Kirk created. Whether you agree with everything that he created, the one thing I respected about the man is he could go anywhere and have a conversation, get people to question things, spark debate. He could cross those lines that so many can't, and that's why they feared him. Because in the end, what do they fear the most? They fear those that question things. Hell, they created, and I wrote an academic paper on this. They created terms for that heathen, heretic, pagan, common folk, free thinker. That's what those three words mean. But yet we've bastardized them to make it into evil, perversion, Satanism, vile, tyrannicals. For what? Questioning religion? For questioning the king, the queen, the governing body of anything? For just questioning or coming up with an opinion or a hypothesis or a theory. They could be burnt at the stake, beheaded, exiled, banished. Are we still living in the medieval times? We must be. We must not learn not to repeat history. But then again, how many of our children have been taught real history? But to question that as a parent, we become domestic terrorists. No. See, that's the problem with things. We're not going after the true roots of the evil. True roots of the evil are corporations and the politicians that they're buying. Oh, here's another fun fact. Some of our most major corporations have foreign members as top shareholders and CEOs. But yet, they can influence our elections with the money that they've billions that they've raked in their corporations here in the United States. Fun fact, YouTube. And no, any professor worth their worth to tell you Wikipedia is not a source, a credible reference source. I've got documentation. In fact, the videos are still up on YouTube that proves Wikipedia is not a reputable source by their own words and acknowledgments of the emails they sent me. But hey, well, Mama told me when I was young. Some will say, well, that's the times we live in. No, that's not the times we live in. That's the times we choose to allow to happen that we live in. Because we have a choice. We have a voice. We have a say. And I get it. So many people's got so much to lose. I really do. I get it. Unlike Tim Pool, who just now got it, I got it back then. Why? Because I was always the one that didn't have anything to lose. Which, made me the ideal candidate to be the voice of Sons and Daughters of Liberty. I have nothing to lose. But I will be the first to tell you, if I ever find something and I have something to lose, you best believe I'm going to fight for it. I'm not going to say I'm going to disappear or walk away. I'm just saying, well, those that know me know me. All that you need now is in your soul. And I've proven my weight in gold. And you can do this, oh baby, if you try. I'm a stubborn rubbish. You tell me to abandon that fort? Fuck you. Their cannons can't penetrate that fort. And this is the exact quote from my father. Disobeying the president and governor's orders of the South. Because back then, each state, they were like president. They were either governors or presidents. Like I said, we had several presidents before we actually officially sided on George Washington. A little bit of history that's not taught anymore. But each colony had their own, basically, president. But he was told, abandon that fort. He did it. Him and a small regiment of soldiers held that fort. British couldn't take it. Ran the British out. He didn't down. Now this is 20. We're on 2026. We're still talking about racism. We're still talking about hate. But to be honest about it, it's only a percent. It was a bigger picture when politicians use it to stoke their rhetoric, to get votes. They're the only ones that seem to make a very big deal out of it, when it's not a big deal at all. They create the fire, and all of a sudden, racism or hate is back in the forefront. We have politicians that should be in jail for some of their hatred. We have politicians that violate their ethics every single fucking day. They violate the very oath of office that they took. Because once you get elected to the Senate, the House, you don't represent your states anymore. You represent the people. We the people, not we the corporation, not we those that put money in my pockets, or we call it pork barrel spending, which we keep changing the name of now. I don't even know what we call it now, honestly. It's corruption. If we just get back to common sense will tell us that our medical prices and medical is through the roof, and it should, and it can be easily fixed. This is all you're going to charge, be allowed to charge people. $1,000 plus for anesthesia during a surgery is ridiculous. But then again, what's the doctor's Hippocratic oath anymore? It don't mean shit. It's not even worth the paper that you wipe your ass with because they don't even believe in that oath anymore. If you don't have insurance, they're not going to treat you. If you can't afford it, they're not going to treat you. Well, that's what the Hippocratic Oath was for. They would not deny anybody. They would treat anybody, poor or rich. But, you know, people are ruining good things. When you start suing these doctors for malpractice or for hell, some states don't have good Samaritan laws. You know, it scares me because I got certification for CPR, basic first aid, and how to recovery and stuff. And hell, it's a catch-22. Do you stop and help, or do you keep on driving? Well, if you keep on driving, you can be charged for leaving the scene. So, but if you stop and help, well, you take a chance of getting sued in civil court, or if you don't have good Samaritan laws, going to jail. What has our world come to? And not our world. What has America come to? It's beginning to be the land of fear, not the land of free. That's being curated on both sides. Then we have those that would just rather dip away and hide away and just watch it all burn. Hit the reset button. And you have a portion that would just, yeah, go ahead. Let's have that civil war. When you guys get thin yourselves out, they'll come in and clean up. And they'll march their own way and start going after the real guilty parties. Like I said, we're in a no-win situation if we don't make change. This year alone has shown that. Outrageous prices, middle class getting poorer by going into poverty. We got a pulse rate that's through the roof. But yet, what has our congressmen and women done for us? Nothing. They haven't done anything to lower the prices. They refuse to. They rather argue about immigration, about illegals. Do I care for Trump calling the National Guard, mobilize the National Guard? Have I seen? We've seen change. There's been documented change where it's helped. It's been a positive. but it's also a negative because now what happens when the next when the Democratic Party becomes has a president? It's gonna will they come around and round us up who spoke out against them, that called them out? Obviously they will. We've seen what they did with J6. We'll be the ones in the crosshairs again. And what will our so-called representatives of the Republican Party say? Nothing. What will they do? Nothing, because they did jack shit to get anybody out of J6. It took a presidential pardon to do that. Do you still trust your party line? Hell, I got. I can honestly say the Democrats got more fucking balls than the Republicans. The Republicans just cower and back down. They're worse than the French. They're turncoats for real. I mean, come on, guys. Are you expecting anything better in 2026? I'm not. I'm quite frankly, I think it's get worse. I think we're going to lose a lot of people, a lot of voices. A lot of people have been talking, speaking, because they have something to lose. Well, that something to lose gets threatened. They're going to stop. And I don't blame them. I'm not going to do. I'm never would do that to anyone because there's those of us that can step up. It's our duty to step out and protect those that can't protect themselves. Those that have to fear for the ones they love. And I hate to say that. You start relying when those people start stepping up. That could be more scarier than anything because these are the ones that have nothing to lose. These are the ones that truly express my generation. No fear. That don't give a fuck. We were true rebels. But the nice thing about my generation, most of us were smart enough to get married and have kids and have families. So, but that left the real degenerate ones, the ones that everybody calls the degenerate ones, the ones who just didn't give a fuck. And those are the ones who will stand up. Those are the ones that truly fuck around and find out. And that could be that quiet school teacher, that beggar on the street. That's what disgusts me about our government. They would spend millions and billions to Ukraine. They won't address our homeless situation. They won't address all of our vets who are committing suicide. And now the numbers are even more staggering because it's just not our vets. It's everyday people who can't get by. Some people think the only way out, and I hate to say this, the only way their families can get by is to do something stupid and hope that the life insurance will protect them. But most things are there's causes in that, but people are creative when they get to that point in their mentality, and that's happening. Like I said, I'm in one of those moods. You know, I don't know why. Maybe because I'm turning 48 Sunday. I'm just reflecting on a lot of shit. Shit I don't normally reflect on. Normally I don't give a fuck. But I've also reflected on this past year. which I usually do that in October. We're at a point where re-assassination, that one actual assassination of Charlie Kirk, people going after those that have an opinion and a voice, shooting up their place, all because they dare to speak out, dare to question. Now, what happened to Charlie Kirk is it's tragic. Now, what should have been the biggest headline of the year for many of us, the death of Ozzy. How many generations did that man influence? A true influencer since the 60s to 2025. How many people did that man influence, touch, and inspire? But no, that's not what we're thinking about. You know, the greatest rock legend of our time, of generation's time. Hell, my dad's time was Elvis, but yet his time also covered Ozzy. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about three assassination attempts on Trump, to an assassin attempt, an actual assassination on Charlie Kirk. The nice thing about this year, we didn't have the violence that people were predicting with, Antifa. It was more of a joke than anything. It wasn't even worth covering because it was that much of a joke. But that depends where you're at. Seattle was a joke. Chicago, eh, they were a little bowdy. Even got more so when, they started putting price tags on people's heads because of the uniform they wore. But who did that? The gangs, the cartels, the ones that are making billions off human trafficking and smuggling humans into the country with their dope. You know, and it's a shame. So many of you have never ever researched into that. I don't. I'll tell you, don't. It's probably one of the most disgusting, vile things you'll ever research when you start researching the human trafficking side of things. When you realize the corridors run right through your back, when you realize it's just not the Mexican border, it's just not the Canadian border, it's each of our coasts. Blonde hair, blue eyes go south, across the border. The harvest of organs. I mean, when you go down that rabbit hole, the things you uncover, oh my God. Then you start seeing why why I'm not opposed to abortion, because we have a adoption agency that's more corrupt and vile than an abortion, that the FBI governments are all aware of. Hell, local law enforcements are aware of it. Yeah, that's actually what when I researched that, all that, started documenting all that. That's what made me step away from streaming for a good year because it was so sick to realize this is happening in our backyards. Nobody's doing anything about it. And some of it's so gruesome you can't even talk about it. I wouldn't even talk about it here on Rumble. So yes, we do need secure borders. That should never be an issue. But yet, back to what I said, our politicians don't care. It's a political point. It's a point they can use to divide us, to get us arguing amongst ourselves. Man, if you guys realize how bad you guys are being played by your politicians, you would revolt. But hey, that's what they don't want. That's why they cause fear, so dissident, pit people against each other. Because if you've seen the truth and knew the truth, every single one of our politicians would be out of office. But as a human species, as an apex predator that we are the world's worst enemy because we come in all different colors and shades of mindsets, of views, of values, of opinions, and beliefs. We don't all share, none of us share the same ideologies, concepts. It's so easy to pit us against each other. We can use religions, have been used since they created dogma to use it to be controlled, to control people, instead of keeping it spiritual the way it was meant to be. I grew up in a Baptist church, Southern Baptist church, so yes, I've heard the fire brimstone preach, the hate preached from the pulpit. Heard the same thing from the Catholic side of things, but I always questioned things. But I also was never scared to explore, experience. Well, they can't all be like that. Go to a Lutheran church. Let me go to a Methodist church. Oh, Jehovah's Witness. Okay, let me go to try Tribhumanism for a bit. Tried it all, been there, done that. They're all the same. They all have their dogmas. They all have their lies. That's meant to control people, deceive people. Instead of keeping the basic spirituality of things. To love thyself, love thy neighbor. I'm a firm believer of an eye for an eye. I'm not going to turn the other cheek on certain matters. And other matters, yeah, cool. Why? What goes around comes around. Firm believer in that. Call it karma, call it kismet, call it whatever you want, whatever label you choose to use for your religious preferences, which all mean the same damn thing, which you sow is what you reap. That's the funny thing when you start studying religions. You start studying them all. You come to realize they're all the same. You strip the dogma out of it, they just change the names. They change the labels. And for those that do not like what I said, change the fucking channel. Find somebody else to listen to. By the way, that's one of my favorite YouTube channels. Change the channel. Because he is right. If you don't like what I gotta say, change the channel. But that brings me on to a new topic. Why can't we just change the channel? Why do we need people to tell us what we need to censor? You're a fucking grown adult. You know what's right for you and what's not. You don't need to go complaining, crying, oh, you need to take this channel down. No, you need to be a fucking grown ass fucking man or woman, fucking, and have some fucking common sense and dignity to go watch something else. We are our own worst enemies when it comes to that. Somebody says something you don't like, you're instantly on attack or you're trying to get them canceled. Instead of respecting their opinions and views, that's not mine. I'm sorry, I'm going to watch something else. And you could even block me. That's the beautiful thing about these sites. So you never have to see anything on mine pop up in your feeds. But let me tell you something. If you've actually listened to one of my videos, well, you're screwed. I've done planted a seed. One day, somebody's gonna say something, and you're gonna remember that I said something. Because that's the other beautiful thing, and probably the worst thing about human beings. We all learn at different paces. We're not all on the same scale when it comes to learning. Some of us have to learn the hard way before we learn. Some of us learn quick. Some of us not so quick. The beautiful thing about our mind and subconscious is that important things like that we're not ready to learn, we'll forget it. We'll get pissed off. We'll walk away. But one day something's going to come up. It's going to trigger that in your subconscious mind. It's going to come to the forefront. You're going to remember exactly what was said. It's going to be like a deja vu moment. Or a very, I hate that, I hate these, a very numbing and dull moment that just leaves you numb. It's like, oh, shit. He was right. Or she was right. How did I see it back then? You want to know why you didn't see it back then? Because you weren't ready to. It happens to all of us. It's part of the way humans grow and learn. That little switch that's, or we'll call it, it's like a palace guard. It's standing there and protects us, or it's a mother protecting us for the things we're not ready for. I mean, that's why we lie to our kids about Santa Claus this time of year, right? That's why we lie to them about there ain't no ghost or spiritual things floating around. There's no evil, right? But the reality and the truth is there is evil in this world. There's evil people. Yes, it's a minority. But unfortunately, we publicize that minority and make it into a major thing when it's just a minority. It's just a small fraction of zealots, but yet we media, because we all know. I'm talking. I don't know if they teach us anymore, but when my English class, junior high, we were taught the basics of what sells. Sex sells. Put a sexy woman in clad clothing, men are gonna pay attention. Put a ripped dude wearing no shirt, low cut pants at the waist, women are gonna buy into it. Violence sells. Always has. The play on words, or the innuendo of words, using phrases that don't exactly say it happened, but hints at it to be a fact, when it's actually not fact. Candace is really good for that. But so is every politician. And they've been around for centuries. We called them, back in the day, they called them snake oil salesmen before we had TVs and communications, right? I mean, there's a charlatan in every group. There's another fun word to look up the order of what charlatan actually means, or a quarter song. There's days that suck, it sucks. You study so much, you've learned so much, but yet we haven't learned shit. I find that's funny as I've gotten older. Honestly, I have. The more, the more I age, the more I realize, the less I really knew. The more I see things in a different view. But that's the things we should be remembering and teaching our youth. because they're experiencing life as we experience life for the first time. They don't understand these things because they haven't experienced it. Because we don't talk of these things. Why? Because they're too busy talking about putting out fires. We're too busy talking about fucking Candace Owen, who can't keep her mouth shut. That wants to make money off the death of fucking Charlie Kirk at the expense of his wife and kids. All because she's being the proper prostitute that she is and chasing somebody else's fame. Because it's the hottest topic at the moment. She's cashing in on it and lying to all of her followers and misleading her followers. You know, that's why I love doing the rambling of the chaotic mind, because I can just say what I want. I just go off the flow. I mean, somehow, as chaotic as my mind is, I can stay on somewhat topic. I try to leave the sons and daughters part of it for the politics, the political stuff, more political stuff. But yet I find myself always loving when I do ramblings of the chaotic mind because it's the shit that we need to say, that we need to get out. Especially me, because now I'm just so busy. Now I work 10 to 11-hour days, 4 days a week. You know, I don't even talk about my family issues right now. But hell, this year alone, my dad had it, got life flighted, almost died. Had to have a bypass, a step put in. Then 2 months later, had a minor stroke. So now, trying to help them with bills, trying to help my sister who's disabled. She cannot work because her back's deteriorating. But yet, what she gets from disability doesn't care to cover her bills. It doesn't care pay rent. That's it. What little food stamps they give her don't cover groceries for a week. Then when the government shuts down and comes back open, and they give her $20, saying, "Well, that's half of what you should get." You can't live like that. So I'm doing a lot of things. Hell, I should be out partying this weekend. Celebrate my birthday. But I choose to do it my own way. I managed to afford a bottle of Crown Royal Peach. Enjoying that. I'll sip on that on the weekend. Do a podcast. Tomorrow I might do a gaming podcast. I'll spend it with you guys. Been kind of I'm funny about that on my birthdays. Never really spent it with friends or loved ones. I always spend it with strangers. Hell, I used to. It used to be a thing in the '90s. I'd find somebody say, "Let me go buy you a drink," and hang with them for the night. I'll celebrate my birthday. It's funny how you learn about people. I don't know. I've always been the weird oddball out of the group. I'm also, believe it or not, I'm also the quiet one out of the group of my little circle. I'm the one you don't notice in the room unless I want to be noticed. But yet, I've been doing Sons and Daughters of Liberties going on now 10 years, almost 10 years. 7 of which I did on YouTube. Then almost 3 years now on Rumble. I didn't start streaming until about 2 years ago over here on Rumble. Because I don't do pay to play. But I'm kind of started. I'm enjoying the premium. features, and I respect what Rumble is. It's something until they change, which they all do eventually. But until, as long as they support and protect everybody's freedom of speech, I will contribute what for a premium membership. I haven't done that anywhere else, and that should say something. How much didn't even do that on the mines because I watched the mines do some stuff I didn't agree with. I won't even get a on X, which actually, because of that, I can't use the X link in um, and live stream to there like I can YouTube, Facebook from the built-in studio here. It blocks the link because I'm not a paid subscriber, whatever they call their payments. I'm not doing it. I don't agree with things. Some of the things amongst us. I don't agree with a lot of things on that platform. Is it better than what it used to be? Yes. Is it what all he said it was gonna be? No. It's like, yeah, they sold out. Everybody eventually sold out. I hope to God Rumble never does. Just like I hope to God Tim Pool don't go away. But if he does, I hope he builds something bigger and better. He hinted at something in the last podcast I watched. If he can do that, that'd be amazing. And I believe he can. But will he? Because I'm telling you, when you finally get that realization you have something to lose, or that your loved ones could be put in danger because of what you're doing, things change. Your whole way of thinking changes. Something he didn't realize back during COVID. I would love to see him retract that statement he made throughout COVID. But does he have to? No, because I still respect him. I respect what he's done. He built something from the ground up. He did what the American dream is supposed to be about. That's so hard to do this day and age because they do everything in their power to keep you from doing it. And that's sad because truthfully, the American dream is dead. There's only a small minority, it's less than a fraction of a percent, that can actually live the American dream, make something. But even then, you're always worried, well, who am I going to piss off? I'm going to say something, then it all comes crumbling down. We should never have to live in fear of that. You know, when we first created, over on YouTube, when we first created Sons and Daughters Liberty, one of the first things we agreed upon, we never monetize. We wouldn't sell shirts. We wouldn't sell merchandise. We wouldn't do anything that could give them control over what we said did. Because here's the problem with YouTube, and it's going to happen here. If Rumble ain't careful, when you start getting money from your advertisers start trying to say what can be said on the platforms. If they don't like it, they'll threaten to pull their advertisements and their monetary what they're paying YouTube, Rumble, whatever, X. They'll threaten to pull that, and when they become reliant on that, they'll start caving in to, yes, once again, corporations, and start censoring people. I wish people understood that. I wish people would have a backbone, especially the people that own YouTube, X. I'm not gonna say Rumble because so far I have not seen or heard of anybody, unless they completely blatantly violate the term of service and post something that's illegal, get censored here. But how long before the advertisers force them into a situation like that? Then we'll know if Rumble will survive and be what we want it to be, or just become like YouTube, X, and so many other platforms, and so many bygone platforms, because they chose to take a stance and it was made impossible for them to make money. The people that we should be supporting, the COVID damn near killed all small mom and pop businesses. Those are the ones that we should have been supporting. Those are the ones we should have been giving our money to, not Walmart, not Amazon, not these franchise restaurants. We lost so much during COVID. You know what the scary part is? COVID's back. Last week, I know this week, a map of the COVID cases in the United States, and every state's red. Certain states are dark red. My state being one of them, like a burgundy red dark, with that many cases of COVID. Heaven forbid we have to go through that again. I'd like that we learned our lesson, but I'm sorry, when the churches close their doors, I can't have much faith that people will stand up if it happens again. Because it could have been ended right then and there. You can't make a church close their doors. If they would have stood up and fought against it, lockdowns would have never happened. And I'm not going to sit here and argue with COVID a real thing, a fake thing created. Well, I think it was created, but that's neither here nor there. That's my opinion. That's been researched. We do have gain of function. But then again, same person with gain of function. If you want to know how long we've had a cure for AIDS, well, we've had it since the 80s. But, you know, certain person blocked all research and made it disappear. But yes, the descendants of those that survived the bubonic plague or Black Death actually have an immunity to AIDS. The cure was there from the very beginning. But once again, government thought they could use that with the war on drugs, and the hatred for homosexuality and blacks to thin the population, basically genocide or euthanasia. They let it run rapid. They needed people to share needles. It's funny the things that come to light years later, documented things. In fact, if you want to know, if you want to watch that actual documentary on that, it's on PBS Secrets of the Dead, dealing with the Black Plague, or Black Death, Black Plague, Black Death, bubonic plague. Very interesting. And Fauci's name is number one on that list for making sure that never came to light. How many lives could have been saved? How many people could have been cured? All because of corruption and greed. Or ideology, ideology of clan nature, Nazi nature. So once again, what have they done for us? Well, done a lot when it comes to ruining us, destroying us, breaking us down, pinning us together. I could go probably do a fucking marathon, 2, 3, 4 day marathon on that topic. They've done a lot for us on that topic. They haven't done anything to help us, to better us. They talk about education. They talk about when they talk about racism or the inner projects. What do they do to better the school systems? Nothing. They'll better the private school systems that the rich people go to, but they won't give all that funding to that type of money and funding to the inner schools to make them better. They won't give that funding to vocational schools to give people trade and skills to compete in job markets. Why is that? Do you still think they care about you? Or do they care? The only thing they care about you is this: you're a commodity. You're the slave. When your usefulness is done, they make it so you can't afford proper health care, can't afford to put food on your table, buy gas. Hell, the retirement age is basically 70s now. We have 70s, 80-year-old people working because their retirement and Social Security can't afford the cost of living today because the prices are so damn high. I think the last statistic I saw on that, it's like almost 35 to 45% of the retirees are now working in some form, in some way, and I've seen it with my own eyes, and you probably have too if you're paying attention, or if not, you will now. But yet, what have our politicians done for us? They shut our government down. Okay, they reopened it, but yet prices are still up. Prices are still ridiculous. Prices still continue to seem to go up weekly. Oh, but gas prices are down. Yeah, it's because it's winter. It always goes down. In fact, gas prices are not fucking down. Because if they were down, we wouldn't be paying 245 or 249 or 248 a gallon. We'd be paying $1 something. I think it's funny. During COVID, towards the end, the lowest I seen gas prices get was $1.25. I was like, oh my god, 90s all over again. I can afford to drive. Then they lifted the ban and the prices shot right back up over $2, almost $3 a gallon. Oh, but that's about supply. No, it's not about supply and demand. That's about greed, corrupt oil tycoons that are made billions and want to continue to make billions. That's why we switched from gold to petrol for our currency to back our dollar, which ain't worth shit now because we have no control over the oil. The Saudis do, Russia does, everybody but us because we won't drill our own oil. We won't tap the huge resources of oil that we have in Texas and Alaska. We become so reliant on other countries, we won't produce our own fucking medicine because if we did, it would lower the cost of medicine. No, But our politicians that own shares in these foreign pharmaceutical companies are making millions on their on the shares that they've bought on their stocks. Once again, I'll state what I firmly believe. Every single fucking politician, I don't care, every single fucking person that holds the office of trust should have to disclose publicly their financials. Every stock investment they have, or make them wear a fucking NASCAR suit that has every single sponsor, stock, investment, corporation that donates their campaigns on their fucking uniform. Because that's how bad and how corrupt things have gotten. Like I said, our politicians are puppets to the corporations. They're puppets to the Saudi billionaire princes, to the billionaire Israelites, which once again, many politicians have once again committed an ethics violation. They're not to swear allegiance to any country but the United States. You know, here's my thing. Before you try to fix other people's problems, fix the problems in your own backyard. I don't give a fuck what's going on in Russia, China, Israel, Ukraine, Iran, Europe. You want to know why? It's not my country. I care more about what's going on here. I care about the homeless problem we have, the epidemic of homelessness, the epidemic of drugs and illegal drugs. And I'm not saying marijuana or mushrooms, stuff like that. I'm saying fentanyl, cocaine, heroin, the hardcore stuff that just kills and rots people away. Hell, alcohol, in my opinion, but my opinion for somebody who smoked weed and drinks, I would rather smoke weed than drink alcohol. When I smoke weed, I'm not inebriated like I am when I drink alcohol. Yes, I get stoned, but I don't get drunk. I can function. I can focus. My focus is 100% on weed. But I choose to work somewhere where they have a zero policy. And therefore, if I want to work, I do. I have to. I have to be an adult and make choices. The choices are, well, I will take the thing that I don't like over the thing that I like because if I test 30 once, I lose everything that I've worked for. I've worked hard to get to where I'm at today. And I'm blessed to be able to have that opportunity. I never dreamed I would be a lead like a foreman, yet more a chance to become a supervisor for my shift, which I've worked very hard for. Made a bunch of changes in my life, attitude, how I talk, how I deal with people. Am I perfect? No, every day is a new learning experience. I accept that. I also accept that come January, I still might not get the supervisor position. They might not see that I'm fit or capable yet, but I will at the end and know that I gave it my all, did my best, and will continue to work for it. You know, especially somebody me. It's like, got to. I mean, I've been a sous chef. Oh, sous chef. I've been in charge of construction sites. Done a lot in my life, but I've really never been, a supervisor, or manager. I've been assistant manager, but Every place is different. Start learning that. It's been an awesome learning. It's been an awesome thing to echelon front group of SEALs, military. Wrote a book, Extreme Ownership. Eye opening. I think it was the very first part, taking ownership. They talk about uh, basically they were racing, the SEAL boats, the rubber ones. Well, this one group would win everything. The other group won it. So one day they decided, well, why is this happening? So they switched the leader from the losing boat to the winning boat, the guy from the winning boat to the losing boat. Guess what happened? The losing boat started winning every single thing. It wasn't the people on the boat, it was the leadership. And the first part of realizing that is being able to take ownership that you failed. It wasn't, yes, the people might have made mistakes, but no, in the end, you failed to train the people right, or you failed to not see what was wrong. Does that make you a bad leader? Yes, if you don't accept that you're, in the end, are the one to blame. But when you accept that and you go to fix that and make changes and change how you do things, that makes you a good leader. There's a bunch of stuff. I recommend everybody to read that book because it's just not dealing with businesses or corporations. It actually has a lot of effect into your everyday life and your relationships. These guys were on point with that because it does apply to your relationships and stuff. Like I said, there's still a bunch of good out there to look for if you're willing to have an open mind. Most people, oh no, they're a bunch of patriots. Okay, so they might be a bunch of retired SEALs. But did you listen to what they're saying? No, you're just going off a label that somebody gave them because they might have a political view or might have said something political instead of actually having an open mind and reading the book or watching the videos that are out there about it, which could lead to life changing experiences. Because honestly, I don't know how much life changing experience you're gonna get from me. I'm more focused on making you think and question things, calling things out as I see them, my opinions, my views. But at the same time, I enjoy when you guys enter the chat and actually chat because we learn from each other too. It's something I'm having a hard time build back up. I had that on YouTube. I don't quite have that yet here. I had it to where I could do call-ins. I have that ability here, but I haven't got that engagement. Well, some of it's because I'm not streaming every day or every weekend like I was, or once a week. It just can't happen. Not with my current circumstances. And it's not circumstances. I'm focused on work. Focused on helping my parents, my sister out. You know, and when you work the hours that I work, by the weekend, by the time I get done doing all my errands on Friday, I usually end up passing out around 5, 6 o'clock and not waking up till 10, 11. Then I do want to have somewhat of a social life. I don't have much of a social life. That's my choice, but Much time these days, much as things are now, you really can't afford to have a social life because by the time all the bills are taken care of, groceries bought, gas put in the vehicles, you don't have much to spend. Which is I'm making good money. What I consider good money because I grew up in the '90s. I started working in the '90s, so hell, the first factory job I made, I only made what 7 and a quarter, if that.
It's refreshing when things look just.
Now I'm making what around 2065, I think somewhere around there, which is damn good. Unfortunately, it's not because the price of living has increased so much that I'm still once again I'm back to living from paycheck to paycheck, struggling. And it's like what the fuck? And I've explained how all these little things can be they're simple fixes, common sense fixes, but nobody wants to because they're too greedy, too corrupt. And I'm not talking about when I say nobody wants to. You guys that are listening, you guys want change. It's our politicians. Now I kind of miss the old days of bickering back and forth about who's right or wrong when it comes to religion. The bickering back and forth between who's right and wrong about politicians is a deception. It's a lie. Because we're all wrong and we're supporting a label. It's all wrong when we're not basing our choices on actions over words. Because the truth is, we're never going to get away from having difference of opinion. But we should be able to have a difference of opinion in a great debate where we walk away learning from each other. Doesn't mean we're going to agree. Doesn't mean you're going to change my mind. I'm going to change their mind. We're just better off. Because the other people that listen, that's what matters. They're learning too. They're going to see both sides of our argument. Hell, they might chime in and chat, and we see something that we missed, and they got from what we were debating. We can't have a debate. The debates now turn into hatred, turn into violence, turns into cancellation, turns into assassinations, betrayal. Full blown argument. An argument is not a debate. When voices get raised, tempers start flaring. When we become blind with rage, that's not a debate. You know, that's what I said. You must eventually ask yourself, when's enough enough? What changes do I gotta make to start making a difference? Not within my household and within my community. How do we put aside the differences that we have and find common ground? Common sense should be we all should have common ground when we start seeing through the lies and deceptions, when we see the manipulations, how they tricked us, used us, treat us like slaves. Truthfully, that's what our indoctrination and school systems are based on. It hasn't changed since the beginning. It's around labor, clear down to our break, spring break, summer break. Christmas breaks. They're broken down into systems of labor, teaching us to be people that labor, that work. It doesn't teach us to break away from that system, to become educators, to become philosophers, to become somebody else, to better ourselves. It's a restrictive system. Only the upper class, the rich. Back in my day, we call them popular kids, the preps. I don't know what they call them nowadays. I don't care. It's always that one group. They're the ones that go on, but they're also the ones that end up doing the harder drugs. They end up doing because they have the money. Because they don't care. They don't have the values, the morals. They don't know what it's like to work for a living, to struggle. Everything's given to them. Guess what? I know both sides of the fence. I made a choice. Do I regret that choice? Not a day in my life. I mean, I could have right now, this day, I could have maids waiting on me, cooking my food, cleaning my house, but I wouldn't be living here. And never would I ever give up the freedom that I have here, the Constitution that we have for a socialist country. I've seen what that's like. Lived it, been there, done that. Fuck that. Thankfully, I am blessed. I was blessed with dual citizenship. I was blessed to experience two different sides of life. Most people aren't. Do I like busting my ass every day? No. But hey, with promotions, I had to bust my ass. Well, I've had to bust my brain more now than I've had to bust my ass. Although the other day I had to bust my ass, I'm still feeling it today. But that's also because the thing I was offering was broken. You know, hell, it's like I'm having to learn how to delegate people, or make sure everybody gets some work while our plant's low on work. Trying to make sure, hey, I'll try to get you some hours. Working with what I can. Come on first shift, work from whatever to 5:30 or something. That way you get some hours. Those are the things I'm starting to deal with now. I like to think I'm doing a good job at it. I think I could be doing better. I'm learning each day. But then again, you have those people who say, "Oh, I'll come in." Right? He comes in. You want to have the day off? Yeah, sure. I can use the day off. All right. Then the person don't show up. So now I'm down to the person that I'm replacing with that operates that thing. Thankfully, I know how to operate it. But if I'm operating that, I'm not doing my job. Yeah, lessons learned, right? But I'm sorry. People gotta work. I'm willing to do what I gotta do to make sure I give people a chance to work. I actually have that somewhat that ability. Until I'm told you can't do that, kind of, it's eating into the profits, and I have to stop. These are decisions to make. With those decisions comes consequences. But that's what I'm trying to point here. With our indecisions come consequences. When we choose not to see what's going on right in front of our eyes, there's consequences to it. And those consequences are staring us right in the eyes right now. To where it's okay to celebrate a human being's death because you didn't agree with him or because your label didn't agree with him, who tricked you into thinking he was evil when all he did was try to stir debate to make you question things. That's all he was guilty of. So it was okay to cancel people for having opinions and beliefs, to state those opinions openly and honestly to an audience, to people that listen, instead of being grown adults. If you don't like what they're saying, change the channel, go to somewhere else and listen to the things you like. Hit the block button. But no, you want to try to cancel, try to get them removed. And that small minority wants to try to shoot up somebody's place. We cannot have that. We cannot be making people live in fear because they have an opinion and they have a voice. But let me warn you of something else. The most dangerous voice is the silent. The silence. Those that go silent is the most dangerous thing that could ever happen. There is great power in silence. So much power that people don't understand and couldn't fathom. There's so much we could be learning from each other if we just quit and stop bickering and fighting amongst ourselves, even because this person has this label, they're evil, they're wrong. Quit buying into what the fucking labels of the politicians are telling you to do. Think for yourself. Don't be their puppets of violence. Don't be their puppets of control because they're using you to steal your freedoms and you don't even realize it. Think about that. Think long and hard about that. If you don't think about anything else I said tonight, think about that. With that said, I'm going to finish the rest of my drink and enjoy my birthday weekend. I hope you guys all have a wonderful Merry Christmas. I don't personally celebrate it, but then again, I know everybody in my family is old. But only my brother has kids, so it's just another day to me. Hell, I'm even working Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, so that tells you how much I celebrate Paladins. But like I said, some of us don't have anything to lose. Yes, I have a job I could lose, but I can easily find another. Not that I want to, but that's my mindset. And I will. I'm usually careful what I say. I don't relate any of my company's policies. That would get me kicked out here or fired. But I will speak my mind because I'm not beholden to no one. And I won't let no one control my freedom of speech. Yes, I actually am under some NDAs. Yes, they're for a reason. A very good one, which I won't speak of. Because you know what? The place I work, here's what I love about it. It was started by a family that kept the family atmosphere that flies the American flag in every building. And they built something out of nothing and became and lived the American dream to be where they are today. And I respect that more than anything. It's like I respect what Charlie Kirk done, what Tim Pool done. what a few others have done. Some musicians that never done would never sign a record label deal and become more popular than the ones that signed record deals and not beholden to anyone. Can freely speak and say what they want. There's people out there that's doing it. They're finding ways to do it. Unfortunately, they made it so hard. It takes longer. You got to work harder for it. You got to sacrifice things. But it can still be done. With that said, guys, enjoy your weekend. You guys all have a happy Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I will see you guys before then, because you guys do know, like I love to do a year in a review and talk about what I think is coming up. And I'm going to work on, for the next one, maybe having a few guests, few friends that's been on the podcast before. Might see if Sword Point 9 be interested. Jappy from World Pirate Radio Podcast. I think it's World Pirate Radio Net Podcast Network or something like that. Free Spirit Press, or Free Spirit Prepping Press News, whatever it is now. She changed it. I can't ever remember it. And who knows, maybe a couple others. I'd love to get somebody else back on that I actually did. We thought we did a podcast, and I hit the button, but it didn't record, and it didn't go live. So therefore, we had this awesome conversation that never got posted, was able to post because it never got recorded and it didn't go live. I would love to revisit that. And there's a couple other people from other platforms that I'd love to have back on. I'm going to try to make that happen I can't. I'm working New Year's Eve. Might do it New Year's Day. Well, I'll be home before enough time to rock in the New Year's. Well, I should be. I don't know, but keep that in mind. But that's it. You all have a good night.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up. up, no I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind, I gotta make it. I'm saving every day to taste it, I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages, a vacant modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help, I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up